Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alan Cook, the proud owner of the Dion painting, which is on the left, which is the older, more mature Mona Lisa. As you're going to see when I draw it in, that is her right there. And this is the younger Mona Lisa. See? Smiling. I could tell you in my YouTubes why she has no eyebrows, why she smiles, what is in her hands, what her hands turn into be. I can tell you what these icons are. That is a dog, okay, if you really look at it. And this is a upside down bear when you turn it 90 degrees with his paws in the water. There's many little hidden deals. I'm going to show you some little tricks and little things in which Leonardo Da Vinci did. Okay, now also I want to let you know before we start, I'm going to show you in the icon in the hat right there, which is right here, is going to be this icon that I got matched up that gets super blown up, and it's going to be right in this particular let me get too far zoomed. It's going to be into this piece that's back behind it, and it's going to be that the icon that's in the Mona Lisa, which is right here, right there, that little dot, that is actually a skull. And then forgive me for only having two hands, so and I'm going to show you a couple little tricks before we get to that. If you actually take mine and you overlay it on the skull, and you start at one beginning of the page and you move it across, if you follow the dots, you see his face and her face lines up into the dots. You'll see. You also see how her hand matches. See how her hand matches into the area. So when you follow it across, you'll see the exact same curve. You'll see the exact same curve, whoops, curve goes right into it and fits even into the valley, and even goes in even off the page. He walks her from it all the way across, That's why the Mona Lisa moves. Okay, so this is going to be a quick one for you to see on that. See how she fits 100% on some of his points to where it really shows. And some of it he hides dramatically. But when you go all the way across, okay, it's kind of hard to slide the mouse sideways, so forgive me there. You'll see how she lines up into the points, and so does he. Okay, even in his hands. If you pull it right on back, how his hands match, and his shoulders. Now I'm going to pull this down for you to see something real quick, and you can see how his shoulder goes here and runs across. Watch. Here's the shoulder, runs down and goes. Then I was wondering, how come this particular? Well, I figured that one out about an hour ago. If you figure this out right here, here's his shoulder, here's his pleat, and here's his collar and his face. Okay, why would he have a particular piece there? Well, there's a good purpose for it. And the reason is, because Leo put it there, because he's moving. So his arms moved over to here, and then he swings it. He's a flip book. He's a flip book that so happens to be in his portrait. That's why some of his items you think that don't line up, that 50% lines up and the other 50% don't, it's because he has a moving flip book piece of art. It's going to get heavier. Watch this. Okay, now remember when I told you about the two icons, one in the hat up at the top, and the Mona. This is on the Mona, the icon of the skull. This is the icon in the hat of the Dion. And when you take this and you overlay this right into the same image area, right here, it fits in this valley. Watch. You see this round circle type deal that so happens to look kind of like kidney shape? This actually fits exactly in here. And when you end up following, you'll see an L right here, L, O, V, and then you see a big E, and then you see this kidney piece. You'll also see a big K, and you'll see a Y and a Y. Now I'm going to pull this back, so you understand. There's many YouTubes like it. You're going to see, because here's the particular piece right here, but here's the big E, okay? Then he has the V that runs in here, okay? Then he has the backwards O, then he has the L. I'm going to overlay it again real quick for you. Here's the kidney, here's the E. Now here's the E, the bottom of the E, here's the E. Put the E back, here's the V. I'll hold it down at the bottom, there's the V. And here's the black O, you can see how it's black, okay? And then you can see the L. It gets wilder. Hang in there. See the L? He does it in stars like Big Dipper when we look at night. Okay. Now, he not only does he cheat, if you actually look at an eye and an eye and an eye and an eye, and they're actually looking about 7 o'clock towards the left. Now, not only does he spell love and shows his two lovers' face, and then he also is in the birds and loves to fly, so he indicates some of the photo into looking like a bird. He also has got this guy here that kind of looks like an X. He's got this guy, when you go to put him up in here, here's an X, and then I got it dead center in the X. You can see the crisscross line in the feet matching the same. See? Here's the feet, the same. You don't see the other portion of this particular piece right here, but you know it's there because you see a light blue dot aiming only on one portion of it, but you know it's there. He's got it hidden. I don't know how to pull absolutely exactly the same photo shoot like a Kodak or a Fuji. But when you get into the K and the Y's, you'll see that when you line them up, you'll see here's the K and here's the Y. So here's the K that has an X also using part of the K. Here's the line, here's the boom, and here's the X part of the K. Then you got the other Y that goes into it. Then you can see this line kind of like a V and the line coming down. You hold this right here and you'll see here's the Y. You also see a Y running like this. But if you actually follow the main dots, it lights up on mine. So why he adds a lot of Y's, I don't know. But if you get into putting this in here and getting it lined up exact, you'll see that up in here he makes a heart. See how he makes a heart because of love? Okay, so it gets wilder. So he's got an indication of a heart going here with an opening of like a woman's face aiming towards this way. Gets a little better. Now, if you were to cut this across and eliminate this top half above the LOVE, which is written backwards, and you follow this particular item that kind of looks like an acorn, and which is actually the skull, it lines up 100% of the same area of the skull. Now, you pull this down, looks acorn. Look at it, here's an acorn. That 100% match. Two different paintings, exact images. And then when you get into spreading this out and following the images, it continues on and on and on, as such is what we're saying, or finding. His works are the same. You can take this particular piece and you can overlay this on one of his images, which I'll show you what this image is out of. But first let me overlay this image over the top, and you can see how she fits in the dark, or he fits with a skull in the black and runs through. You can see the highlighted. You pull it back, you see how this is one big looking like golf club running down, and if you actually look at it, this is like one big golf club running down. It may have this particular, but if you really understand by eliminating some of the other stuff to kind of throw you off, that's his work. Now, I never did check to see if it said LOVE across here, because it's a very poor image in which was off the net. I don't even think it was a 1 gig. I think it was something like a 56 or a K156 or something. I don't know. Anyway, that is the same as this image here. When you overlay it, this so happens to be one of his works out of the diary. You lay it over, and it shows his hand going through here, and the same. So you take this, and you take this, and you can overlay this over the top, and what do you see? You see nothing. For the reason is, you're not supposed to see anything. For the reason is because he was hiding his love in his work. But when you change and get into his depth of his works, then you would know that he is hiding these things. And this is one that he's hid in my painting. And this is one that he left for someone to wonder what it's all about in the Mona Lisa. And when you get into great detail of this, it's not just what I'm saying. It's about 3 million plus images within the meaning of this phrase. It gets really heavy, and I don't have the time to get into every single little detail. I needed 30 students for like 30 years to break down every single little star, because that's how complex this man is. He's very, very, very good, and we all know that because he's been talked about for 565 years. I could tell you things that just has taken my breath away. I get super excited. You can hear it in my voice, because this man has lit up my life in so many great ways of thanking God that he has given the talent to an individual, of a human being on this earth, this greatest mind, hands, heart, soul, caring. He's got so much of it, because inside my painting, these things, all these little things are a lot more than what we're talking about. We get into the depth. We get into these little images, these little dots that make these bodies. This is a body with a man on a stick with a head right here, and here's another man on the stick hanging and going. And then you have a whole bunch of chairs and people sitting in sticks, and these are guys, cartoons turned sideways with people on top of people. Well, each particular one of these, every little dot, and if you follow, how come it looks like it's going in ways like this? Because no matter which way you do it, he has a system that so happens to show that he's not only doing the art and changing cartoons into portraits, and portraits back into cartoons, and cartoons back into portraits, and then finally build the main images which we see on top. But all the other stuff that he started from the beginning, he not only did it in code, he's playing music. He's singing and playing and having a blast and having a cartoon. And you say, hey, how come some of these images don't look like actual people? Well, let me show you his comic. This is in the Mona Lisa. Let me show you if I can draw it in. I'm going to go right there. Do you see that? Those are cartoons. These are things you cannot see. That's a cartoon. See? Little guys in here. A guy with a stick and a head, and it's a real trip. And the other one down below that kind of looks like a figure 8. This one here is another guy swarmed over. And he's probably got his feet and his legs going like this. And these are little cartoons and feet and bodies. And the black that you see, I've seen the black most gorgeous Mona Lisa in my life. But it would never show up on film. And people say, how can that be? Well, it's easy. It's not easy. I take that back. But it's easy to try to give you a thought of where I'm coming from. Go outside. Take a look at a black crow. He's all black. But look at all the shades. That man knows how to play colors. Okay? Hey, thank you for all the viewing, all the subscription, all the great kind comments. I really gives me encouragement to continue on with my work. I got a magnificent comment the other day that I haven't got a chance to give back. I wish I could throw a gift out to the guy or girl. It really it made my 7 years of fighting to make this right, and really felt like I took a ton off my shoulders, that I'm making some people very educated and curious of and good hearts and good people out there. There's a lot of good people out there. They give me a lot of encouragement on this earth. It's a rough, protective earth. So I want to say, hey, God bless the whole world, the universe, and the heavens. and you have a very, very safe night. Amen.